Everyone wants better mechanics, but most players train in the most inefficient, slow, and painful way possible. And then they end up wondering why they're stuck at the same rank and the same level for months. So if you want to actually get mechanical, here's the truth, here's how to do it. Let's go. Tip number one, master one mechanical archetype at a time. This is where almost everyone gets stuck, because they try to improve at everything. They want all of their mechanics to be really, really good, which isn't going to happen all at once, right? So if you actually want to get mechanical, you have to do what the pros do. Pick one archetype and attack it for multiple weeks straight. Just practice that same archetype. Now, you might think, what is a mechanical archetype? Well, this could be something as aerial mechanics. For example, air dribbles, flip resets, double taps, ceiling shots. Those could all go under aerial mechanics, like the flashy ones, right? Then, for example, you could have ground dribbles, right? That could have bounce dribbles into power shots. That could have flicks. That could have just carries. That could have all kinds of mind games. Everything on the ground with the ball, right? I'm sure you get the point by now. So think about what your weaknesses are mechanically, and then pick that kind of archetype and train that for multiple weeks. Now you might be thinking, how do I train these mechanics? Well, that's where the second tip comes in, which is that you need reps, not perfection. Most people train mechanics like this. They go for a single flip reset, they miss it, and then they say, oh, well, I'm just not good at flip resets. And then they stop going for flip resets altogether. What you need to do instead is you need to do that mechanic. I was just using flip resets as an example, right? You need to go for that mechanic. And regardless of if you miss or not, do it again and do it again, and then do it again and again, until you have hundreds, thousands of attempts in training of that mechanic. Because I promise you, if you've done 10,000 flip resets in training, you're not going to be bad at flip resets. I can promise you that. I personally like linking improvement in Rocket League just to any other regular sport. If you want to get good at something, you need to do an insane amount of volume. Like regular footballers don't just take one shot or one penalty during a drill. They take tens, hundreds per session. So the mindset isn't that you should make every shot perfect, but rather it's to give your brain enough repetition to figure out how to do these mechanics. Because your mechanics improve between reps. So the best way to get good mechanics fast is to do these long free play sessions. Long sessions of training packs. Just do as many repetitions as you can possibly do. But a common mistake that most people make with this is where tip number three comes in, which is to stop practicing slow. The biggest mistake low and mid-rank players make is that they practice all of these things at a safe speed. In free play, they do these incredibly slow air dribbles where they're just floating for 10 minutes. The thing is that if you did any of these types of shots in real ranked games, you'd get defended incredibly easily. So instead, you need to train your mechanics the way you would use them in game. Now, what does that mean? If you train slow, your brain will learn slow. If you train fast, your brain will be forced to adapt and learn fast as well. So in free play and training packs, force yourself to move faster than feels comfortable. Recover faster. Do these mechanics in a way that you would do them in game. And yes, you will mess up, you will whiff, it will be difficult, but that's how your mechanics grow. If you only ever do your practicing at a speed that's easy for you, it's not practice. It's just mindless repetitions of the same things, but it's not going to actually make you better. And now, the final tip to get mechanically brilliant is linked with the last one, which is to put your mechanics under pressure. Now, what does that mean? Training in free play, absolutely great. Training in custom training packs, workshop maps, whatever, great. But none of that matters whatsoever if you never test your mechanics in environments that actually punish failure. What I mean by punish failure is that if you mess up a shot in a training pack, what do? You just press the reset shot button and you just go back and do it again. In a real game, though, if you missed a shot, you might get scored on. And that shouldn't be discouraging, but rather encouraging because that's where the fastest improvement happens when your mechanics are in uncomfortable situations, as we talked about in the last point, right? So, go for these hard shots in ranked when you have the space and time to do so. Force yourself to use these newly trained mechanics that you have done in training in real games. Because your mechanics will never translate into ranked if you only use them in those perfect controlled situations in training. Short summary on how to get mechanical. Firstly, train one archetype or category of mechanics at a time. You can even go more in depth and just pick one mechanic more specifically. Then secondly, get an insane amount of repetitions of that mechanic or archetype so you can actually get better at it. Third is to train fast and do not get stuck into the loop of comfortable, easy training. And lastly, put those mechanics under real game pressure. Follow all of these tips for 2 weeks, and I promise you, your touches, your control, your speed will all level up insanely fast. Good luck in your games, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.